with the last 25 years of friendship and conversation and enriching in one another. And this is what for me was this experience was. I guess that's why it was worthy to wait 2 years to meet presentially rather than to have this kind of forum online, which of course we all appreciate very much, the fact that we can communicate with anybody and everybody in the world, but obviously there is no substitute for this exchange of ideas. I mean, all of you, first let me thank Hans, really. I mean, the fact that you took so seriously reading my work, which I never took myself so seriously, let's put it this way, and that when I read what you say of me, I say, well, maybe he's right, maybe maybe there is more to it than when I think. So thank you. But again, this has been a conversation, as I said. This was roughly after I was tired of the debates on secularization, and I wrote the essay Beyond European and American Exceptionalism, because the European secularists were repeating the same thing, and the Americans' free market pluralists were repeating the same thing, and I saw there was no way of getting to the conversation. But then beyond means to enter into a global conversation, really, and get into historical, more complex things. And this is what I began doing, but partly it was, as I said, the conversation that we had in this summer school of young European American scholars, where there were so many of them young scholars, anthropologists, sociologists, philosophers, political scientists, working on all kinds of countries around the world. And I realized my own interest, again, was really global, and I could really appreciate the contributions of each of these students. And so it was probably this conversation that led me, okay, not everything has been said, and there are a lot of unanswered questions. And so it opened up a completely new way of research that has continued. Talal Asad was central in precisely challenging me how much I took for granted the modernist, Eurocentric assumptions of what religion is or what secularity is. And yet I was not fully satisfied with his Foucaultian genealogy. I thought that, again, it was also over Hegelianized in terms of the uncanny of reason that somehow is able to produce both reason and unreason, and this secularity that is able to produce everything, right? The secular reason being able to produce everything, religion and its counter. So it opened me, those were very serious questions. And I had to reflect on them, and obviously this is what I try to do in Gen de Vries Revisiting Public Religions. Now, I've been revisiting it ever since. I think I have about 5 or 6 additional papers called Revisiting Public Religions, the one on gender also, gender and, again, Revisiting Public, now bringing gender in, and I guess we could bring other, all the time, new things in. What we did precisely about even the titles of the panels, all of them have to do with religion, secularism's public spheres. And the complex and all of, this final panel was the one saying how each of these concepts have been so contested and they are so problematic, and yet they are inevitable, right? For me, it was very clear when the so-called experts on religious studies said, let's get rid of the category of religion because it's such a Christian Western category that it doesn't work. Well, it's too late. Everybody in the world uses the category now. So we only can really try to learn how do they use it and how they have come to use it. How can we reconstruct the way in which a category which was so tied to Western Christianity first, and then to Western colonialism and so on, has become now globalized in a way in which we, Western scholars, are not anymore the ones in charge of telling which categories people are going to use, should use, or not use. They are being used in all kinds of different ways. And precisely what is unique is how contested these categories are by everybody. So neither we, the scholars of religion, own these categories, nor do the religious authorities own these categories, nor do the legal systems can define what these categories really are, and nor journalists, nor anybody. Every single individual claims to have a right to say what their religion is today. And so this is the world in which we are in. So I only thank you all for continuing this conversation, for having helped me understand also a lot of things. Obviously, I especially found those that were looking towards the future. I obviously enjoy very much the fact that my students, younger generation, are doing so much in bringing these categories and these concepts to new contexts and to bring it to new light. Again, thanks. Thank you very much.